Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. I have had a rough month. Okay. It's been a rough month, and it's been rough in different ways at different times. At this point, it's rough in a different way. I started to feel low right around the beginning of Mercury retrograde. Typically, I don't make any assumptions in terms of how I'm going to feel as far as a retrograde is concerned, because I don't respond the exact same way to all retrogrades. I think it really depends on me and what's going on up there. But I have noticed that the fall retrogrades tend to hit me a little bit harder than the ones in, let's say, spring or summer or whatever. So I'm working through that, all of that the retrograde has brought up for me during this period. So I am a little bit, pooped energetically and emotionally. But on the plus side, I've been feeling really motivated to share some things with you through video. So I wanted to come to you and talk to you about a specific topic that has been on my mind, and I actually wrote a blog about it. But I wanted to come to you on video because I know not everyone reads my blog. I don't advertise it like crazy. So it's something that unless you're on my Facebook or my Instagram, you're not really going to see my blogs. So I wanted to share this with you on YouTube. Okay. So today I wanted to talk to you about dealing with the concept of illness. Okay. And I think this is a very important topic. Especially, it's especially important for me, but it's especially important for the spiritual community. It's especially important for the not spiritual community, just the average person that has a life to live, that is living. Okay, I think it's just important overall. But the thing is that for a really long time, I would say ever since I was a teen or even earlier, the idea of getting sick or having something happen to me that is either traumatic or irreversible on the level of health has been something that has been a source of concern, worry, or fear for me. And at different degrees, at different points in my life. And I feel like the concept of illness or ill health has been a focus for some time for me. And I've always been someone who likes to maintain good health. Now, I also love to eat. I love food. And so I've had like this double-sided, approach where it's like I love to eat and I love to enjoy food. And yet at the same time, I also love being healthy. So I love all kinds of food. So here this conversation is becoming about food. I love to eat healthy food. I really do. I like to eat healthy food. I love fruits. I love vegetables. I like healthy stuff, but I also like to eat not healthy things. Okay. I like to enjoy food. That's the kind of person that I am. And more recently, I've started cooking more. I've explored baking, and I'm really good at it. So I've been exploring that territory, and it's been really fun. But at the same time, it has brought up for me the concept of illness and health and overall well-being. So now this is something that I was really thinking about a couple of months ago, where illness has been in my family. I think everyone can say that we have someone in our family that is not in good health or has something going on with their health or well-being, if it's not us, right? So I do have someone in my family that has gone through issues with their health, and it has caused me to put my own health into question, because this person is a direct family member, and it's something that could be genetic. It's something that I'm predisposed to, like different health issues that I'm predisposed to. So it has caused me to try and make sure that I keep my health in check in different ways. But as I've been going on the spiritual path, and I've been working on myself and discovering more about myself and my thoughts and my beliefs, it caused me to question even more where my thoughts are regarding health and what my approach is, and if that approach is actually beneficial to me. So my time has been spent trying to avoid health issues, trying to keep myself away from getting sick or having something happen to me that is anywhere near what I've had to experience with my close family member. So I'm been trying to make sure that that does not happen to me. But I have found that that approach has not been beneficial. But the thing is that I'm not the only person that lives their life like this. I feel like the average person in our society is doing a lot of what they do to avoid illness. So sometimes, we'll say, well, I'm trying to be healthy, right? But we have to consider the fact that maybe we are, in essence, trying to avoid illness. So looking at why we're doing what we're doing, what our approach is really important. So like, for instance, when we're engaging in these exercise routines, we're really working ourselves out. We're making sure we're only eating healthy, organic, fresh, whether it be vegan or vegetarian or the Mediterranean diet, whatever we're trying to do, trying to make sure that we maintain optimal health. I don't think there's anything wrong with being healthy, but I also feel like we have to be mindful of, as opposed to maintaining good health, trying to push away illness. So it's like, and I'm not saying that you or anybody else is doing either one or the other, but I think that it's kind of like a mixture of both. And I think it is important for us to consider that if we're trying to push away illness, that we're actually in resistance to it. And this is something that I've considered for myself, that in my quest to try and keep myself from getting sick, that I've actually been in resistance to illness. And I feel sometimes when or a lot of the times actually, when we resist something, we actually give it more power over our lives. And this realization came to me when I was out at the park, or out at the cemetery really, and I was walking around and I saw this beautiful tree at the cemetery. And I saw that this tree produced so many beautiful, like these black pods. Some were green and some were like a black, kind of reddish black color. And some of the pods fell to the ground. And when I picked them up, they just smelled so beautiful. So much so that I actually carried some home. They smelled so good. And I had to look it up for myself. I'm like, what kind of tree produces these beautiful pods? I never actually found out. But I did a Google search to see if I could figure out what kind of tree could produce such beautiful stuff. And in my quest to try and figure that out and see if I could find this tree, I stumbled upon like recommended, or I guess other things that you could read, other articles about different illnesses that can afflict trees. Okay. And it was at that point that when I saw that, it's like, hold on a second. So trees can get sick. So plant life can get sick. Then I thought more, okay, animals can also get sick. So you can have all, like dogs, cats, birds, lizards, like our bearded dragon ended up getting sick and passing away. All forms of life are susceptible to getting sick. We all are in the realm of, we are all in this realm. And in that sense, we all agreed to at least be in the realm of possibility where we can get some sort of illness. And it made me see that illness is not necessarily something unnatural. Okay. Now we can make it seem that way. Okay. And maybe for some people, it is an unnatural thing. And I feel like this is especially true in spiritual circles, where people have this idea that we're not supposed to be sick. We're not supposed to have illnesses. We're not supposed to have these problems. And if we have these problems, it is due to the fact that, let's say we're not eating the right things. The air is polluted. Let's say we have some sort of emotional problem. And listen, I'm not putting this stuff down This is stuff that I have been exploring as well. The influence of our physical health based on the mental and emotional state of health that we have and how it can influence our physical health. So I do believe that that is the case. So I don't really think it's inaccurate, but the idea that we are not supposed to be sick, we're not supposed to have stuff that happens to us that is of ill health, that is something that's actually very prominent in spiritual circles. And we're always putting in so much effort to make sure that we're getting rid of any sort of illness, or we're making sure we get to the root of issues so that we don't get sick, so that we don't have these physical problems. But I feel like that, in essence, is in a way trying to resist something that can happen on all levels to all creatures, okay? So, like I said, I do feel that the more we resist something, the more power we give it, and the more I feel like it can have a hold on us, the more influence it can have on us. So I had to come to the realization, or to the conclusion, that illness at this point in our journey is a natural part of the physical experience. It is possible for all types of creatures to get sick, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being sick. If you just so happen to have something wrong with you. See, so that's the natural thing. We say wrong with you. Okay, so this is where I feel like we have an issue here, is where if something happens, we see it as something's wrong with us, or there's something bad. I had to come to the realization that I have to at least accept and be open to the possibility that something could happen. I was going to say could go wrong. That something could happen that could cause illness, that could cause ill health. Doesn't mean that it's going to, but I had to at least release any sort of attachment to this idea of not being sick. Because with the attachment to it, you're trying to control it. You're trying to make sure, well, I got to make sure that I don't have this issue. I got to make sure that I don't end up like, my brother, my sister, my father, my mother, whoever. And in essence, that doesn't actually do anything. When we're trying to control something like that, we're not actually in control of it. Because in reality, we can't control stuff like that. I think that through our efforts of maintaining good health, that doesn't mean I'm asking you to go out and start smoking cigarettes, but I do feel that in our efforts to try and prevent illness, that it's like a good thing if we try to maintain good health, but we can only do it to a certain extent, because there are certain things in our lives that we're not going to be able to control, whether that be illness or something that happens that we don't like. We can't control everything. So what I feel is a good thing to consider is this idea, or maybe ask yourself, if I do get sick, what does that mean about me? What does that mean about me as a person? And you can ask yourself, are you still a good person if you get sick? Is your life over if you get sick? So basically, getting sick, what does that actually mean? What does it mean for you as a being, as a spiritual being? It seems like my journey has been about transcending the limitations of what we perceive as being reality. Transcending the limitations of the physical body. Because the physical body is just our vehicle. So it's basically just helping us to be able to have this experience in this physical world. But the physical body can have things that happen to it that we don't like. So it's like moving away from this idea of identifying with the physical body on the level of, well, my body has to be in pristine, perfect health in order for me to be okay, in order for things to be right. When, like I said before, there's nothing necessarily wrong with illness. There's nothing wrong with having something in your body or having your body express something that is not in perfection or what we perceive to be perfection. So I feel like this whole idea of illness, of health, is something that would be good. It would be good for us to explore. Whether you're in a spiritual circle, spiritual community, or not. Because I do feel that each and every one of us naturally tries to resist illness. Okay. And I do feel like in order for us to really live a free and liberating and fulfilling life, we just have to be open and just be in the flow and know that regardless of what happens, we'll be okay. So what that has brought me to in my own personal journey, just to share this last bit with you, because I think it's important, is because of this realization and because of what has been happening with me on my spiritual path, I have not been called to maintain a perfect diet. One that is only, well, not only, but primarily greens, primarily fruits, primarily whatever is considered to be healthy food. I've had to let go of this idea that I have to be attached to a healthy diet in order for me to be healthy. And now it's a very interesting, it's a very interesting thing to say. But releasing my attachment to eating a certain way has been an important part of my spiritual journey because it's helping me to be able to release any sort of resistance to illness. Like I said, it doesn't mean I'm going to get sick, but I at least have to release my attachment to getting sick and avoiding it, which means with that attachment to getting sick or whatever is my attachment to eating healthy because I'm trying to avoid something. Okay. So it's like if you're going to eat healthy, you need to do it because you want to, not because you're trying to avoid something. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the last point I'm going to make. So I send you all so much love and gratitude for tuning in and listening to my rant. And I hope this has helped you and given you some insight. And I'll see you around soon. I got some more videos coming up for you. So I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.